So good evening.
Good evening.
And welcome to your self-realization. Let's have a few words. Mother, Father, God, we give gratitude and thanks for this day. We ask for your infinite light of protection to be with us and throughout this building and all over Zoom, wherever you are, so that only the highest and best will occur through our thoughts, words, and actions. And through those thoughts, words, and actions will direct us to a better understanding of our own selves. So when we meet those on our path, we have a better understanding of them. We give thanks for this day. Amen. And last week we talked about soul and spirit. Ernestina mentioned that I was going to be talking about spirit. However, she talked about soul and spirit already. So I'll be talking about individuality and personality and how that relates to soul and spirit. Personality is connecting with soul, and individuality is connecting with spirit. So, did you have any questions about soul and spirit from last week at all? Okay. So personality, it's the state of being a person. The characteristics that distinguishes one from one another. And if we're thinking of, personality with soul, it's, the characteristics that distinguish one from another. You can think of personality characteristics from one soul to another, right? If you think of, the orbs that people sometimes can see orbs, I think of those as a personality too, or some sort of soul there that's kind of doing their visits. It's a total individual behavior and emotional tendencies, character traits, attitudes, or habits are part of our personality. When we talk about habits are things that we have picked up and have in our auric field that we are choosing with our personality to keep those for whatever reason we have, whatever reason we're wanting to keep those, whether we feel that those are positive, negative, or are things from ancestral links of habits. Because, we don't just think of them as being, oh, I'm going to the gym today, or I have a smoking habit. There's ones that are given to you from birth. And those things can create your personality similar to personalities of ancestral. And so really being sure of what habits we have for our own personality so that we are carrying forward in our path and not an ancestral path. Really figuring out what habits are ours and what we want to keep as ours, and how do we want to go forward with that too. And the personality is the sum total of characteristics that man has personalized as distinct of himself, independent of others. Like for me, there are certain things that I like, but Amy might not like it, or Ernestina might like it. But I have my own way about it. I have my own way that my personality is. When I wake up in the morning, I like to head right to the coffee pot. Others might do the same, but I never brush my hair until I get out of the shower. Where someone else might brush their hair first thing when they wake up and wash their face, so there's independent things that we choose in a habit. It is the veil or mask worn by man, and it is acquired while in the earth plane, other lives, and it's contrasted with individuality. So individuality is indivisible, and it's the state of being indivisible or not capable of being divided and inseparable. So as we were saying about spirit, that's individuality, which is not being separate, because spirit is what? Everything, right? Spirit is everything. And we cannot be without, because we are one. We're going to say something, Reverend David? You can't hear me? Just say it.
Are you frozen?
Am I frozen?
Are you talking?
Yeah.
I'm not hearing you. I wasn't hearing you.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, could everybody else on Zoom? Okay. I thought you were trying to say something like, tell them about, I was like, just say it.
I'm just saying I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. You got it really close. I was like,
What I'm saying is you.
so, where was I?
Individuality, spirits.
Yeah. So spirit, it's the I am. All that is God self. And how we say and express this is, you are God. And that, some people in the world could go, oh my God, that's blasphemy or whatever, but know that everything is constant and we are not without each other. We are not without anything. And everything that we see outwardly is us. And that's, so, these people that drive you nuts or whatever it is. So what is it that's going on within you, the person that it's driving you nuts? What is it that, in your work environment? What is it in driving? We can minimize it to a point where every little situation that we incur, it's the all, but at the same time, what are we wanting to experience about us? Because every experience is about us on the outside for the inside. So the spiritual identity can never be destroyed. It is a distinct entity or particular manifestation of divine principle. And divine principle or fundamental truth pertains to God, the divine. And we are what? Divine. Oh, I'm going to talk about that on Sunday. What is it? Divine law, David? Am I talking about? I think it's divine law. Here comes Lady J. The mind of each individual is consciously unified with divine mind, God. So anything we speak, anything we think, anything we create before it comes out, anything that's manifested here in the mind that we're thinking about and then we say it, that's a prayer, or what someone would call a prayer, because you're creating something. And when someone goes, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Baloney. Yes, you did. Because you created it, right? So now pull the weed, and change it. But truth is what comes out is, and that's God. So would you if one were to think of universal, the whole universe, God, self, whatever you want to call it, anything that you speak, would you speak to that the way that we do? When we cuss in the car or get irritated or, whatever we say around the corner to our brother or whoever, or talk about, really think about those things, because we're manifesting something in our universe that all for individuality and through spirit, it all goes everywhere. And that's where we are in our universe right now. And if we're uncomfortable with what's going on, it's because we are in charge of that. We're the ones who are in charge of our voice and our thoughts and our mind and where we are and the people around us. So if we want to be in that negative space, or we want to be thinking those negative things, we're going to have it in our universe. And we can't say, why the heck is it like this, if we're not doing something about it, which is starting with who? Us, right? And so personality and individuality, personally, we can start right now, but with spirit, by starting it individually, personally, then we expand it out individually with everyone and everything. So anything we think, say, or do goes out to all of you, goes out to every energy space, our vehicles, our drinks, our water, our computers, everything, our cells. So this is a real deep, thought process, but it's something to start and change, starting now and be gentle. That's why Reverend David always says, use the whip instead of the feather. Or back up. Use the feather.
No, I didn't mean to say
instead of the
that.
whip. David's like, what is she doing?
No wonder I can't hear her.
Don't use the whip.
I heard that.
Back up. Pull the weed, quick.
As you're talking about this, and the best understanding I had with recovery and everything like this, is that I found out that the things that people irritated me was me. I was doing those habits, and how did I start doing those habits? Is because I was taught through them by being an alcoholic family and being an alcoholic, and so for me to have those habits, I did them, and I acknowledged that, and then I started doing what the opposite was. I didn't have a hard time getting into the opposite, because that's the way I was born, the opposite, up, down, and everything. And so know that anything that irritates you is a habit, and you're doing that habit, and it takes a big person to say, I am doing that, and now I'm changing that, and I'm doing the opposite, and the individuality within you tells you what the opposite is.
Yeah. And it feels good when we change it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the individuality part of it knows that, you're making the change for our universe, you're making the shift, and it feels good, even though the personality doesn't want to change.
One of the benefits is that the people who irritated me, they didn't stop doing those things, but I didn't get irritated anymore.
Yeah.
And that's the healing.
That is a healing that has been taking place. When you were saying that, Reverend David, I was thinking about, being born into that. I too was born into that. A lot of us are born into some sort of addiction or whatever, even mental disorders and all those things. And we all think it's normal. And when we're able to have that self-realization of what's in our cells and like what habits we acquired at such a little age and continued it and really did well with those habits. You know, I walked hard, I lived hard, I, you know, was very assertive, I pushed through, you know, there's all these different things that family taught me that weren't even me. Not that I wouldn't do those things, but there were certain things I had to change. And they were hard lessons to shift. You know, those habits are stuck and embedded, and you don't even know that they're a habit. And then you don't even know sometimes that they're not yours. And then when you change it, oh my gosh, the healing that's taken place, your heart is just open and compassion just spills over. And what an amazing experience. So that is personality and individuality.
So are you, explain that to, I've heard Reverend David say this analogy many times, so I want to make sure I understand. So you're saying the things, because everybody irritates me. My whole family irritates me. She irritates, everybody irritates me, and everybody makes fun of me about it. But are you saying that I am irritated by the things I'm actually doing?
Yes.
You're like,
Well, I need to think about what irritates me, write it down, because I don't know, because I've just sort of been like, and everybody's just kind of teased my personality, you know, that's just, but that can be something I can change.
Yes. You really don't realize you're being irritated, do you?
Right. But then if I think about it, I can feel it. Like,
If you are irritated, then you are doing things that are irritating.
yeah.
outwardly.
Inwardly, outwardly, all the way.
All. You're doing individuality. It's all.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was late. In a nutshell,
Hey,
can you
okay.
tell me the difference between, well, I know I'm not supposed to say I'm sorry, but I truly am regretting that I missed the first part of this, but I didn't have an option.
Yay, we're recorded.
Oh, so I could listen to the recording, but I never do. That's the problem.
Oh.
In a nutshell, what's the difference
That in
between?
itself could be irritating.
It isn't irritating to me. So in a nutshell, what's the difference between personality and individuality?
Okay, so you know how we were talking about soul and spirit. Soul is personality. Spirit is individuality. And individuality is all encompassing, like spirit is all encompassing, and personality is traits, attitudes, or habits. The individual behavior, emotional tendencies, things like that. And then I got more into, give me 1 second. I got more into talking about habits, because sometimes in a personality, we can, as we're being raised, like Reverend David was talking about, you know, being raised from an alcoholic family and then becoming an alcoholic. Well, we were taught that became a negative habit, where you can have a great, you know, family experience where, you know, two of your parents were very involved in your growth period and wanted you to evolve and wanted you to get, you know, great grades and move forward. No bad habits, going to school, you know, graduating at 16 and moving on to college. You know, there's many different versions, but there's also you. And what if you were born and your parents gave you away and you ended up being solely on your own and you had to learn your own trait, you know, but that is your personality and how we can change them.
Okay, that gives me the background. Thank you.
Yep.
So I always thought soul was sort of the perfect part of you,
Well, we're all, I mean, there isn't anything,
like the God part. I don't know. Like,
There-
so you're saying personality and soul's the same?
they're
The
together.
the soul is the sum total of all your lifetimes.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
And it all is all like this little soul encompassing.
So can I give you a scenario and see if I have what you're saying correct, just by giving an example, just because that's kind of how my brain works? I'm extremely, extremely close to a human that was at a very early age, 11 and 12,
Mhm.
drinking alcohol, sneaking out of the house, doing drug deals. I mean, things that way too young to even be able to understand how to make these kind of transactions, and did so with lots of confidence. I'm being careful with my words.
Amy, they could have been doing that in a past life.
Can I make an analogy that, I mean, it was seemed like to me like she was automatically addicted to the substance and to the lifestyle. Can I make an assumption that
Well, how was she raised?
exactly opposite of those things would be unacceptable in the house that she was raised in?
Well, I guess I was looking to what you were gonna say, because, I mean, could you see it as being that we bring forward our habits from past lives into this life and don't want to let it go yet?
What I
And
have to
we-
say to
and
that
we
is,
automatically know there are people that have been in wars that as children, my brother was, oh my God, he was picking up, fake guns and showing how to, put all the bullets in and and doing these things. I was like, how does he know this stuff?
You know, the question you're asking, there's only one person that can answer that. And that's the person you look in the mirror. You go into the silence and you ask yourself that question. And you will get an answer. And it may not be to your liking and it may not be immediate, but you're the only one that can answer that question.
okay,
And that won't be the first time he says that. Get comfortable with being in silence and getting an answer through your silence. Because our souls, our selves have all the answer inside on everything. We have been so many amazing beings, and I know it's sometimes might seem way far-fetched of, because we've been taught all these different things that we are not in command of ourselves. We are not responsible for anything. And we're standing in line and not being of command. And this is what we teach here, is to learn and understand that it's all inside and we're all together. Individuality, spirit, we all have the answer.
And I'm going to tell you all something. What's inside you, you're going to meet, and when you change and you develop, you're going to meet yourself many times. And how you deal with yourself is how you're going to deal with those people.
Like a relative. I go through this all the time with Reverend David. Growing and learning why these people are in our lives, and talk about getting irritated, Tracy.
I know it's a problem, but I'm better.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Yep. And I'm kind of stretching it a little bit, but it's funny how in that world of a family member, they can try to pull you into this understanding that you haven't changed. I'm talking. You can't hear me again? You guys can hear me, right?
I can hear you.
Whatever you were saying, I didn't hear.
Now you're stuck.
I am?
You were.
Oh, wow.
Oh, boy.
Well, I'm glad it's not irritating.
No, I really get that. I mean, that sort of opened my eyes when you just said that's really interesting. That meeting the same people, and I'm very harsh on others, but I'm very harsh on myself. And people were very harsh to me growing up.
Yeah.
And so I'm just changing that opposite or trying, but it's a habit. So it's not just a day, it's a.
And you know, the real essence of that is that you were like that in another lifetime. You were harsh in another lifetime. That's why you are harsh now.
Now to change.
It's
Except
happening. It's happening.
Oh, yeah.
forget,
You're becoming more easier with yourself.
And
See,
others.
we all carry so much shame, we carry shame. I mean, that's a nasty word, is it not? We carry it, but for how long? It's time to release it. And that's why, Reverend David, the feather thing comes through. It's like, because we're carrying this shame and it's so heavy, we're using that whip, and we're being harsh, we're being harsh everywhere we go. And to really, individually with all changing this, because this is our, this is how we created corruption. This is how we created all the things we have in our world here now. We're the very ones doing all of that.
And I'm finding if I look at myself real honestly, some of that harshness is arrogance. But if I look at that arrogance honestly, it's really a negativity I feel about myself. It's both. It's interesting.
I don't know if, did I talk about the mirror? About loving yourself and all that? Okay, so this kind of has to do with loving yourself. And there's a little thing that we do about going to the mirror, and you first start, you just look at yourself, and that's not always easy, right? Some people don't even like to even look at themselves. They don't like to look at themselves. My dad won't even look at him. He's an alcoholic. He will not look at himself. I said, Dad, you got to brush your hair. Come on, brush your teeth. He's like, I don't like to look at myself. I said, I know. You don't love yourself. I get that. And I just say it. But, you go to the mirror and you look at yourself. You start by looking at yourself. Then you get to the point where, might be a week or whatever, but you get into that point where you smile. And after you're smiling at yourself, and then you start to try to enjoy what you're seeing rather than not what you don't like what you like. And then you start talking to yourself, telling yourself that you like yourself. And that is a whole, could be a month worth of, I like you. You go backwards and you go forward. I like you. I like you. And then you go into, I love you. And you realize how much you don't like yourself or don't love yourself, and how emotional that really is when you get in there and you work on it. But the workings take time to really do it for you. Because when you get to that point and you can just say, I love you, good morning, and you just, and you feel good doing it, you've changed and you've had a healing being done, for yourself. And you start to realize when you've done all those things and you're doing it on a regular basis, hi, good morning, I love you. I even write, stuff on my mirror sometimes to myself or whatever. But, I do share, a place now, so it's kind of like, I'll do it anyway. I don't care. I don't.
Yeah.
And honestly, it changes the way that you think about people, because again, it's going out to the universe, it's going out to you. Because I'm not just not liking me anymore, I'm loving me, but I'm loving you, and I'm loving you, I'm loving you, so then now I could look at the world differently. It's a big step.
Mm.
It takes a lot, and I suggest it for everyone.
Mhm.
Reverend David asked us to do that, and I was like, it took a while. A lot of tears of things that you hold on to for a very, very long time.
Interesting.
Thousands of years, you never even know how long. I mean, I'm sure I've killed people in my past lives. I'm sure I've, truth. I mean, this is just, we're just talking about past lives, but I mean, in order to be where you are, you've had to have done those really not so good places, rapes or whatever, or, stealing and all those things, in order to feel now, when you see it, you don't like it. You don't like it because why? Because you used to be that, and you're changing and you're seeing it for what it was. But when you're able to heal and be okay with everyone where they're at, then there's your changing and your evolving universe by not feeling anything anymore, just seeing it.
That is interesting. Wow.
Okay. Any thoughts? Everybody's breathing heavy.
Oh,
Let's
man.
think about that while we're meditating.
Yeah, that's big.
Yummy stuff.
Very cool.
Okay, so we'll do our love offering, and then we'll do our meditation and self-realize and tell each other what we got. So we'll place our love offering in our hands, and we'll give it a blessing before we do. And thank you for your donations on Zoom at unitedfellowshipchapel.org. Mother, Father, guys, we place between our hands that which you have ignited. We give to the source what you have given, to put into effect the law of tenfold return to those who give freely and from the heart. Amen. Thank you. I'm trying to find some music here. There we go. So I'm just gonna put you guys, well, never mind, I'll keep you unmuted here. So get nice and comfortable in your chair. Take some nice deep breaths in and out through your nose. Nice, slow, deep breaths. And the breaths equal your heartbeat. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and out. Breathing through your nose creates peace and relaxation. Continue breathing of the breath of your heartbeat. Start noticing your body and feel where there might be tension in the body. Is it in the jaw or the shoulders or in the hands, in the thighs or in the feet? Start to feel those areas loosen and create peace by breathing in and out those areas. Your body will naturally loosen as you breathe through your body parts to be loosened. Imagine a brilliant, bright light coming from inside you and coming through your third eye, on out through your cells. See that bright light go out to your beginning stage of your aura, out 6-7 inches with a deeper level of bright light, and then now 12 to 20 inches outward. Expand the bright light from your being all through your body. Feeling those areas of your body that were tight, healed, completely healed from your energy, your chi, your bright, brilliant light of soul and spirit. I'm going to leave you here for a few moments to feel the healing space with all of your memory of your soul and all of the world of spirit. Know that you are completely safe and at peace. Relax and enjoy. As you are in this space, imagine personality of your habits, anything that needs to be released. Let it go off to the universe and be dissolved, and replace it with divine principle of individuality and spirit. Divine principle and fundamental truth. Individuality is an underlying plan for which God moves in and expressing itself. God is the world working, and it is living in the world. As the true self emerges, personality decreases. Feel that all through yourselves. Very gently now, start becoming aware of your mental and physical consciousness, wiggling the hands and toes, feeling your back and your body, your feet on the ground. When your mental and physical consciousness is fully aware, open your eyes. Reverend Ernestina, how did you do? Take the mask off. Let's be individuals here.
Well, I got to this place that had I don't think it was as big as a lake. It was like a pond, and I went to the mayor because I have been so tired, and and I've had this shoulder pain, so my body always talks to me when it comes to self-realization day. And I couldn't get into like any specific thing, so I just went saw myself in that water, my near self, and I just started to forgive myself for whatever it is that I insist on holding on to and lugging around my back because I'm tired of it now and I don't want it anymore. So that's what I spent my time on, forgiveness and letting go so that I can move forward. And it seemed like very short. But that's what I did. That's what I spend my time on, forgiving myself for whatever this junk is that I no longer want, and I'm letting it go. I let it go. So
Utilizing that same experience that you just encountered and doing that in your silence, like maybe before you go to bed every day, just spend some time there,
yeah,
feeling that and breathing through it, breathing the breath,
yeah.
it's a breath of life, right, David? The breath of
Yeah.
life. Oh, I muted you guys. I apologize. You have to unmute yourselves because there was some noise going on. So I just muted you when we were in meditation. Apologies. I can't hear you, David. I muted you too. Somehow I muted you. I don't know how, but I don't know how to mute you unless you do it.
I think we're back on.
You guys are, but David's not.
No, but interesting enough, you're not either, but we're still hearing you talk.
Oh, it's because the one that has the big picture of the chapel,
Can you hear me now?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Now, Reverend Ernestina,
Yes.
you know what you just got rid of because you felt it. Whatever you felt is what you're getting rid of.
Okay.
Don't question it.
All right.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Lady J, the big television we have here that shows the chapel's chairs,
Oh, okay.
that's my microphone.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Julie?
Okay, so I felt the light go up through my third eye, and I felt all this brightness around my head, expanding outwards. But down in my stomach area, like the solar plexus area, it felt very knotted, like very, like I wasn't letting it go, wasn't letting something go. And at the same time, I was aware that my mind just kept wandering and wandering. So I was aware of this light and energy in my head area, and then in my stomach area, just like dark, and just like I was holding on to something. And then my mind was kind of chitter chattering. I was like, stop mind. But then like towards the end, I saw this some hands over my head, like somebody was giving me a healing. I don't know if that was like my soul or whatever. And it felt very just bathed in this nice, this nice healing light. But I still, right down here, it's not connected. I'm very aware of that. So.
It is.
Okay.
It is connected.
Okay.
Right, David? It's all connected. However, there's things to let go of,
Yeah.
and you sense it, you know it, you felt it. And you're also knowing that you have that inside because you experienced it, all that beautiful bright light of healing energy.
Yeah.
And that hand and that being, that is you. That is all it is. And there's healing all around you too. So you've got spirit world and you've got your own self because you're the contributor of the healer. You're the healer, as all people are.
Yeah.
So just know that, and in your space, in your quiet spaces too, go to that place and be the healer in that lower plexus area.
Each one of you are feeling the adjustment and the stages you go through change.
Mm.
And you have the answer to that and everything. And just know that what you're feeling right now is change. And each one has a different atmosphere of change. And no one can describe your change but you. And so just keep on doing through these stages. There's steps to go through, just get familiar with them so you know when you're going through it. And that is going to be the best ease you'll have, is knowing where you are and what's going on.
As if you were talking about personality, right? That's your personality. Everyone's going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
And those things, where we go, I don't know what that was. You actually do, you do know what it is. It's just that we've been taught that we don't know it. And if we dig deeper, we'll get our answers. Just asking in our silence before our sleep or in our sleep, ask for those things. Put them under your pillow if you feel, whatever way you got to do it. Communicate with spirit, and they'll definitely guide you and direct you to what it is that you're asking for.
I want you all to know that you are digging deeper than you've ever depth before. You're in more depth than you've ever done before. Just know that and accept it.
Melissa,
Yeah,
how do you do?
I'm not muted, all right.
No.
I had well, when you said settle in and get comfortable, I'm in Wyoming. It's freezing here. I'm in this back room where it's like the coldest room in my house. And I had that thought of like, oh my God, I'm going to need a blanket. I'm so cold. But I didn't want to be disruptive. So I sat. And when we had the light emanating and it expanding, and as that orb grew for me, I had a moment of realization of not feeling cold. I felt warm. I felt very, very comfortable. And there was the awareness to kind of like fiddle with my hands and check it out. And they were freezing. And I was like, oh, Melissa is cold. I am not at this moment. And I mean, I attach my being cold through the winter here is I'm suffering, because I don't like the cold. And why do I live in Wyoming? God, I don't know. But I had that moment of like almost a detached observation of the experience that the person is having.
Mhm.
And
Awesome.
okay, good. And it made me kind of be able to see my habits as the experience that Melissa is currently having right now. And it maybe there isn't as much of a need to know why, to go, why is that? It seems that it's the awareness of the trigger itself that is the springboard for the growth. It's not having to dig in and figure out what past life had, the experience that led to me getting self-righteously indignant and judgmental. There was almost like a liberation of not needing to piece that out and find out why it is. It's the acceptance that it is that allows me to go, but what does it become from there if I don't feel the need to judge it?
Mhm.
Keep a hold of that judgment.
Keep a hold of it.
Yes,
Okay.
because you don't need to judge anything.
Just know it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can hold on to it and be like, I know what this is, but I don't need to use it,
Okay.
because to know is to have a power of understanding, right?
A real basic understanding of why is I am the cause of the effects of my life.
Cause and the effect.
Can you say that again?
I am the cause of my effects.
Okay.
When I learned that, I was like, what? What do you mean I'm the cause?
Everything.
I did everything. But once we, with compassion and not, hey, shame on you, just we've lived. We've lived and we've been and now, there's steps of evolving, and that is why we are here right now, and we're talking about it and, being good with ourselves and giving ourselves a massage when we need one. Great job. Lady J, how did you do?
Well, I just got so calm. I mean, I don't think I got past my hips, but my whole body was just, and my mind just kind of went blank, and that's just kind of the way it was. I nodded a couple times, so I think I dropped off or went somewhere. I don't know what that was about, other than I just needed to be kind of out of reality for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really enjoying the talking about part though, and I love this about the judgment. I never ever heard it said that way, Reverend David, that you hold on to judgment, you can know it, but you don't have to do it. And that's a powerful statement for me.
Yeah.
There's a song called "It's in Every One of Us," and it says we can all know everything without ever knowing why. We can all be wise without ever knowing why.
Yeah.
It's in every one of us, and that's what it reminds me of when he says, or I guess it was you, that said, go into the silence. But I've heard him say lots of times, go into the silence and you'll get your answer.
Mhm.
And 2 years ago, I did a 2-week get together with a woman A bunch of us did. I mean, it was a group effort. And that's what she was trying to teach us. And I have to say, I probably didn't get it till now. Not necessarily tonight, but until this period of time.
Mhm.
So some of the stuff that I'm learning, my sister, I remember when I told her I tried to get her to come to church with me. I thought it would be wonderful for her. She said, I don't know why you're doing this. She's pretty negative. I don't know why you're doing this. You know all this stuff. And I said, no, I'm remembering a lot of stuff that I know that I didn't remember. You know, so we we know it. And some of us even have known it up close and personal in this lifetime. But you forget things. So, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And knowing we can know a whole heck of a lot, but we're still going to keep learning, even if we know. You know, like I said, where we've been now, of course we know. And we're re-evaluating, we're reassessing, and we're going beyond, you know. Thank you, Lady J. And silence is amazing. There are so many things we do in that silence. And when we come back to our Melissa or Angie, who might not remember it so well, but we know we did something, definitely. And we did it for our highest good. And we come back and we feel so good. And we can handle our life comfortably. Okay, thank you. Amy, how'd you do?
I stayed in a bright yellow light, which is funny because I've been working on that area for a long time, for about a week now. And I just stayed and I focused on the parts of my physical body that are I guess ailing or hurting in pain. And I focused on that with a yellow light. And when you called me back, I came back. But that was it. No one came to visit or anything, just stayed in a healing mode the whole time.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Tracy.
I did exactly what you said, and mine was the same thing. When I sat up and got comfortable and started paying attention to myself, I realized that my back really hurt. And I found for this class, I didn't know it was possible, but I mean, I can very short, I can breathe it away. And it's almost gone. I mean, it's really amazing. I did not know that until you all taught me that. And then when you said recognize your soul, I saw sort of in the middle of me a ball of light, and I sort of pictured all of these parts of my personality, or I guess it's personality. I don't know. I get confused. I'm confused now because of your different words, but a part of me that were just falling away. And what was left was almost like a childlike awe and wonder, just a joy, just simple joy and wide wonder. That's it.
You cut out on us right at the end. We're like,
I just said at the end when I recognized the ball and all of the, can y'all hear me? I think we're frozen.
yeah, sort of. Are you guys frozen?
Well, you're falling out.
I'm good. David's good.
Yeah.
Lady Jay's good. Melissa's good. Okay, you guys are all right. You're good
Okay,
now.
did y'all hear? Okay, I was just saying at the very end, I saw a ball and you said to see your soul. And I saw sort of everything flying. And then all that was left was sort of just a little pocket of joy that had childlike wonder and awe. Just a simple, just that feeling, that just wide-eyed child feeling of joy and just simple awe at people in the universe. And that's my wish, to get back to that childlike just awe at nature and humans and spirit. That's it.
Individuality and spirit. Yep. So you were right when you were talking about your personality, soul. Yep, you did exactly that. All right. We move mountains, don't we? Okay, great job today. Oh, man, we got
This is a
some,
big one.
We didn't hear from Reverend David.
yes, Reverend David.
You heard from me all through the class.
I was thinking he was my sidekick, so.
I was, listening to all this stuff brought up a lot of memories and the steps that I gone through to develop and everything like this, and I always, when I do something, I try not to put a lot of talk into it. I shut myself short because I want that person I'm talking to think more about what they're saying. And I don't want them to think a lot what I'm saying, but I want to think what they're thinking, because that's how you get your answers, is by what you think and what you hear yourself doing. And that's the message I want to give to you all, that is that you have the answers, and that's how you get the answers in the silence, is to stop listening to other people and start listening to yourself. Then you'll understand command.
I am in command of myself. I say that pretty much every day. Yep. And I lose myself to my own good, right, David?
Yeah, LOOSE.
Yeah,
I don't want to be tight. I want to be loose.
right. That was the importance today of feeling all those tight spots and loosen that up, loosen that area. Well, thank you all for being a part of this. And next week, Reverend David will be talking on obsession and possession, ob and po. And know that those are positive things too. We've got the yin and yang and everything. And so some people go, oh my gosh, obsession, what are we going to talk about here? We do this every day. So come join us for that, and we'll do our closing words.
Thank you. Sorry we had to cut out. We've got 12 people waiting for dinner in the
Oh.
other room. They were cooking because it's
Okay.
7 o'clock here. So
All
thank you
right.
so much.
Go ahead and
Bye-bye.
get it done. Don't want to get them irritated.
I know. Bye.
Mother, Father, God, we give gratitude and thanks for this day. We ask for your infinite light of protection to be with us and through us as we go on our path. So when we meet those on our passage, we share the love that's so abundant. We give thanks for this day. Amen. And thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good week, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Oh,
Merry
yeah.
Christmas.
Whatever it is. Enjoy your holidays.